All right, this is the video walkthrough for the Morgan Park Company Town activity inside of Duluth. And Morgan Park is still a neighborhood located inside of Duluth, but we're going to be looking at it. It's kind of between 88th Street and um, Arbor Street, right down in there and inside of Duluth. If I could transfer over, I'm not sure if I can. Maybe I'll add in a map as we are getting a little bit closer. But Morgan Park is located um, kind of just west of the zoo. We're going to be looking at Morgan Park as a company town and trying to find out what a company town is. If you were to read what these words are, company town, you're going to not be surprised to learn that it's exactly what it sounds like. A company town is a town that is built explicitly for the service of a specific company. Everybody inside of that town works for the company. Everything inside of the town is owned by that company. Um, if St. Peter was all of a sudden bought out by Alumacraft and Alumacraft builds its own neighborhood, everyone who works for Alumacraft gets offered a house right there. That would be like a company town. Morgan Park was a community that held a clubhouse, recreation hall. Inside there were some boxing things, um, gymnastics materials. There was a school all the way up through 12th grade, churches, hospitals, police department. Everything was built for the company of the Morgan Park Company. The Morgan Park Company was then owned by U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel was Carnegie's company, Andrew Carnegie, the richest person in the world at the time, and it was one of the largest companies in the world. You can think about Morgan Park like it lives underneath the umbrella of another company. So, again, if Alumacraft was to go off and buy uh, River Rock Coffee, then River Rock would still be called River Rock, but we would all just know that Alumacraft is the one that owns it. The Morgan Park Company took responsibility for everything within the town, such as the trash, the lawn care, health care. You would go, if you were sick, you would go see a doctor who was paid for by the Morgan Park Company. And then in exchange for that, the people who lived there were responsible for making sure that their homes were in good shape. Now, they do not own their homes, they still make payments on them. However, if you were fired from the Morgan Park Company, you would also lose the ability to live in your home. Repairs would then be deducted as well. If you did not do something positive with the home, you would have to pay for that repair bill. Morgan Park continued until 1933, and 1933 is going to be kind of towards the early ending of the Great Depression. Now, it's going to take many years for the Great Depression to end, and some historians will say that it will end around 1939, 1941, when World War II is really kicking off. But around 1933 is the signs that the Great Depression is at the very, very bottom of as low as it will go, and we're going to start going up from there. So in 1933, U.S. Steel cut its ties with Morgan Park, and Morgan Park then decided to sell the land to the city of Duluth, where it has resided ever since. Here are your image analysis questions. Describe how the neighborhood looked. Here's your neighborhood of Morgan Park. Many of these houses are still there, and you're able to go off. If we were to go all the way over here, we'd get to Signal Hill. If we were to pop up around here, it would be towards the ski hill. This is a map of Morgan Park. You're going to be able to look at everything here, and on that map, you'll describe what you see. But my question is about this item here. Question item number 4, the general store. Now, those offices inside of the store and the store itself, there's a number 2 as well. Were the prices the same as the normal town in Duluth here? So this road goes to Duluth, and then if we were to just zoom in, try to find where that item 2 would be. Let's see, it would be right there. So if I buy an item in this store, would it be as cheap as an item in the real city of Duluth, the city of Duluth that wasn't owned by a company. Do you think the prices were fair or not? Now that I saw two different images, I can answer this question in 3 to 4 sentences. What would happen to a worker if they disagreed with the way that the store or the company was being run? What might happen to them? What would happen to the way that they get to live? This is that rec room. What's going on here? Is it important and why? Going back to this map, you can double click and you can zoom in if you would like. You can also, if you're on this view where you're seeing the whole slideshow, you can pinch to zoom in. And if I look through, what are some different activities that were on offer inside of Morgan Park? 3 of them. We've looked at teen fashion in the past, and now we're going to look at some fashion of people who lived on a company town. We're going to use adjectives to describe what we see in the fashion and the dress. Also, if this is an employee of the company town, what has to happen to the way that he is dressed when he's around everybody else? Would you dress different around the person who's in charge of your job? Now that you've seen some different questions and images, what's the advantage that there would be for a company to build the company town? So back to our St. Peter Alumacraft example, why would there be an advantage if Alumacraft built a town? This is another question that's very similar. And what advantage is there for a worker to live inside of a company town? And again, the very similar question, but what is a disadvantage for someone living in a company town? Playgrounds look very different. What are some toys and activities we see? Again, on this view, if you're not on the master, like if you're not on the slideshow view, on this view, you can zoom in. And so if you're here, you can zoom in and you can see what they have on offer. What would it be like to live in the town? And here's another view of the town. And that's how to do the activity.